Is this a landfill?
Mankind dumps 2 billion tons of trash into landfill sites every year. The U.S. alone generates enough to fill almost 100,000 Olympic swimming pools.
What we're looking at here is a tire landfill, a graveyard with all of these ponds filled with tire waste.
Each day, over 4 million tires are discarded across the globe. Thousands of tons of which end up right here.
Many businesses throughout the United States and the world pay for their trash to just basically disappear, for someone else to handle it.
It's cheap to dispose of things like this in countries like Kuwait. We have a ton of desert, so people bring in tires from all over to be deposited in landfills like this.
Our obsession with horsepower means that 14 million tires cover the desert here. A sea of rubber rings which outnumbers the local population 3 to 1.
This is in fact the largest tire dump in the world.
Tires don't decompose, so they're being buried in the desert to get them out of sight and out of mind, but they're not going anywhere.
The average tire here has completed at least 20,000 miles on the road. This means they begin decimating the environment long before they're dumped in Kuwait.
Every time you drive on the road, little bits of your tire wear away, and then they wash into the water system, and eventually down to the ocean.
In fact, 25% of the microplastics in the ocean are from tire parts.
The problem posed by particles of killer rubber is only going to get worse. With the increased popularity of electric vehicles, experts estimate tire consumption could double over the next decade.
Electric vehicles with that huge battery pack are much heavier than gas vehicles, and so they chew through tires much faster.
In some way, is our transition to electric vehicles actually harming the environment more because we're putting more plastics into the ocean? It's one giant feedback loop.
Yet perhaps the greatest threat posed by this vast tire dump comes from Kuwait's 130-degree Fahrenheit summer temperatures.
You have a flammable pile of tires sitting in a very hot desert.
Black objects absorb wavelengths of light, converting it to heat. Once temperatures approach 750 degrees Fahrenheit, rubber starts to self-combust, and the toxic tire dump turns into a ticking time bomb.
When you have giant pits of tires in a dry heat for a long time, it becomes a real fire hazard.
Once a tire fire starts, you really just have to let it burn out because it burns extremely hot and is very difficult to put out.
One such fire at the site consumed 5 million tires, releasing 10 million gallons of oil into the ground and a vast cloud of noxious fumes into the skies. And as yet more tires join this desert graveyard, the next catastrophe edges ever closer.
If you think about where we're headed, that pile's only gonna get bigger. A bigger pile of tires means a bigger fire.